Hi everyone, I'm Kadiva Devine and welcome to 12 News in Focus. Every week we take a look back at some of the great stories brought to you from our 12 News journalists. On today's show, keeping your kids protected, the importance of water safety this summer. And middle school students get hands-on learning with robotics and AI using DoorDash robots. But first, how an 81-year-old YouTube streaming grandma was the victim of a swatting call.
She's known as Grandma Crackers.
I need to get some food for the cats.
The 81-year-old YouTube sensation, whose real name is Sue Jackwit, has more than 600,000 subscribers. She makes Minecraft videos to help pay for her grandson, Jack Self's, medical bills.
The insurance company won't touch.
With the help of Jack and his brother Austin, she streamed for the past 15 days 24/7 to raise money. It's her first time doing something like this. And Monday night was another first for her and her family.
Did you ever think it was going to happen to you?
No.
Just after 11 p.m., they got a call from police.
We got a call that Jack shot his grandma and killed her, and that he was going to kill himself. And right then I was like, whoa. Right as I heard that, it was kind of like a punch to the stomach.
Jack explained that wasn't the case, that this was a swatting call, a situation where someone makes a false report to 911. It's a felony that has happened countless times to streamers all over the country. Still, police had to take the situation seriously. They say Queen Creek police in full gear surrounded their home, asking each person to step outside with their hands up.
There were like 10, 15 cops, all with riot shields, ARs, all of them had ARs, and bright lights that can see down the whole street.
Jack says they then started going through the house and then checked on Grandma Crackers, who was asleep. Her stream shows officers walking into her room, eventually waking her up.
They came in and one person took one arm and the other, and they just sort of escorted me out and they were apologizing. And there was a police lady, gorgeous, beautiful brown eyes. She was so sweet, but I think she could have kicked butt, you know, if there'd been a problem. I just wondered what my grandkids had done.
They say officers were there for 3 hours investigating and determined it was in fact a swatting call.
They're not exactly sure where it was from.
The family wondering who would ever do something like this to them.
Whether it's harm or they want us to get upset or they want to upset Grandma Crackers on stream, the police were so professional and amazing.
While it was scary, this gaming grandma wasn't going to let it stop her.
I've got to get up tomorrow. I can't stay up and stew about this, so I took a Benadryl and went to bed.
The next day, she was back streaming.
Well, it makes you, you think, they're not going to tell me what I can do. They're not going to make me afraid to do that.
Receiving thousands of comments from her viewers showing their support.
They've been so kind and they've been concerned about how I was. How are you doing?
While it's an experience they wish they didn't have to go through, it's brought their family and community closer.
I can't thank people enough for how kind they are to her.
For many Arizonans, the holiday weekend means sunshine, swimsuits, and splashing in the pool.
Make sure you're picking bright colors.
It's why Phoenix Fire is reminding families the importance of water safety.
Seconds really do count in these types of calls.
So a fun day doesn't turn tragic.
We've had instances where people are in the pool with their children, multiple kids. They have their eyes on one kid and another kid goes under the water, and it can literally happen that fast even with you standing right. So that's why making sure that you are watching all of the kids around the water is probably the most important thing that you can do.
The message is one Fire Captain Mike Johnson and his family know all too well.
Luckily, they got to me before anything bad had happened.
All because of an incident when he was 2.
We were at a family get-together at my aunt's house. She was the one with the pool. She had a 3-foot fence around the pool. All the right things were being done. All the kids went down for a nap after we ate lunch. All the parents were eating. And my mom said she just got this gut instinct feeling of where's my son? The first place she looked was in the pool, and I was in the deep end.
Johnson was too young to remember it.
She still does not know how I got out, how I got past where they were all eating because it was right by the back door, or how I got over the fence.
But says it's a story his mother always talks about and is something he always thinks about, especially this time of year.
Hearing that story growing up, it's always been a forefront of how easy something can happen even when you are doing all the right things. I was in swim lessons really early as a kid, probably helped me in that situation. My aunt had a fence around the pool. Everyone thought the kids were all asleep, but kids want to go have fun, so they're gonna find their ways to the stuff that's dangerous.
He stresses the importance of adding as many layers of protection as possible. Swim lessons, pool fences, locking doors and dog doors, proper life jackets, designating a water watcher, and wearing brightly colored swimsuits.
Layered protection. So it's not just having adult supervision, but it's also having barriers.
Barriers that keep a fun day in the sun fun.
When we talk about drought, we usually talk about water scarcity, but it's also about power. The reduced amount of water passing through Glen Canyon, down the Colorado River, 300 miles to Lake Mead, is expected to impact Hoover Dam's ability to produce power in the fall, and that could impact all of us.
It's all connected: drought, snowpack, water runoff, and hydropower generated by these marvels of technology. The dams have served us well, but Lake Powell and Lake Mead are at crisis levels. Water Director Tom Bushatsky is chief negotiator for Colorado River Resources.
Well, it's going to go down to an elevation in which we're going to lose a bunch of hydropower generation. And again, you're kind of using up your bank account, right?
He says water levels may drop another 20 feet by the end of the year at Lake Mead.
I think you lose about 80% of the hydro generation when you get to that elevation at Lake Mead.
Okay, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
About 20% of Hoover's generation goes to our state. So where will power companies in the Southwest get that lost electricity?
You've got to go on the grid to find it. You have to assume, since they're going onto the grid, and hydropower is one of the cheaper sources of power, you could expect that impact to occur.
As Governor Katie Hobbs prepares to visit the Lake Mead region tomorrow, she declined to speculate on how the water shortage could affect electricity markets.
I'm concerned about any actions that are going to increase costs for Arizonans and others, and that's why we've been fighting so hard to ensure that we're protecting the infrastructure and the power generation at Lake Mead.
Joe Dana, 12 News.
And coming up, creating a low-pressure environment for young athletes.
It's a first-of-its-kind course.
We'll test out 35.
The STEM Academy at Red Mountain Ranch partnered with DoorDash Robotics to teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students skills they can take into the real world.
Well, we really strive to give kids authentic, real-life learning experiences. And as you can tell from the kids and their excitement here, that is what they really genuinely love to do.
Principal Jacqueline Bycott says for the past 8 weeks, students were part of a specialized program giving them hands-on learning on robotics and AI, focusing on logic, problem solving, and decision making.
They are really coding. They are really actually having these bots take items, down the hall in different routes. And it's just really exciting to let them see something that they know could ultimately impact DoorDash or any other company.
We're building a chariot and a robot to go through this obstacle course to deliver food.
Showing off the skills they learned.
I think it's pretty cool that people can see the work that we did and the challenges that we faced and how we solved them.
Even studying a now local celebrity in the East Valley, Dot, the autonomous robot with DoorDash that you may have seen roaming around Mesa making deliveries.
It's a bit mind-blowing, actually.
Suli Shah, the Director of Sustainability and Community Impact at DoorDash, says the goal is to not only help these kids get real-world experience, it's also to help them find a career path.
The real-world applications of those technologies is such an important way that students and communities at large can really grow to understand and appreciate what those technologies can do.
At the end, they received their certificates with the help of Dot. All from an experience they will never forget.
Yeah, that's right. This is exactly what heaven looks like, at least for me. We're at the North Phoenix Cat Cafe near 43rd Avenue and Union Hills Drive. I'm trying to fit in with the kiddies myself by offering them a wand toy. Looks like they're not interested. Oh, well, maybe I'll try again in a couple of minutes. You'll have to stick around for that. But we know this Cat Cafe, it took them a year to open up between the inspections, permits, and developments. They say all that hard work put into this was worth it.
Yeah, good job. It's such a relief to finally have it done because in the past year leading up to it, there's been a lot happening with cats on our wait list. Personal life, I had a baby last year.
Besides being a mother to 2 kids, CEO Carrie Schwartz is now helping even more cats across the valley find a loving home.
Mr. Swiss. What is that, Swiss? A little more chaos, but it's really being able to help twice the number of cats. So this facility is a little bit larger than downtown, which means we can have more cats.
The Cat Cafe here in North Phoenix has room for 5 more cats than the location in downtown Phoenix. So if you do the math, we're talking about 35 kitties in this massive space.
Yeah, climb right into the camera, girlfriend. Hopefully they get to find that forever home as well.
Between the downtown and North Phoenix location, 61 cats are being cared for, helping keep them away from an outdoor life.
Yeah, Phoenix, we have a terrible problem with outdoor cats. We actually, in this room, have about a dozen cats, all from the same RV park.
Audra McCormick volunteers full-time at the space near 43rd Avenue and Union Hills Drive. She says PHX Cat Cafe needs more people helping out and donating their money.
How'd you get to be the sweetest boy in the world? You don't know.
I just think it's so important that people truly understand that this is a 100% non-for-profit. Without your donations or your time, it makes it even harder for us to accept more cats.
This month, the Cat Cafe is holding a 50-50 raffle. It'll cost you only $20 to enter. We know half of the money collected will go to one lucky winner, while the other half will help the cats here in their care. We know that winner will be announced on May 31st at 5 p.m. Forgot to mention too, you can get coffee here and play with the cats. I'm gonna try one more time. Let's see if it works. All right, looks like he's more interested in my coffee. I'll deal with it later. We're in Phoenix. David Chasanoff, 12 News.
You know, before the rise of club sports, schools were the original entry point for kids into organized sport. But athletics have long taken the brunt of budget cuts, and it's kind of creating a club sports vacuum. For some, instead of encouraging kids to become better players, it can backfire and turn them off from a sport altogether. So in this league, there are no bench warmers, no blow-ups, just playground rules on a bigger field.
Boom!
On Saturday mornings, this field fills with something many parents say has been missing from youth sports.
Nice!
Fun!
We just want our kids to be able to go outside and have fun.
Scott Smith started backyard kickball after his 8-year-old son didn't make a Little League team.
We know that's going to probably come when he's older, maybe 12, 13 years old, or even high school age, not when he's in 2nd grade.
So when his son asked to play a schoolyard favorite instead, Smith went looking for a kickball league. There wasn't one, so he built it himself.
There's no high club sport fees. There's no equipment really needed. There's no practices required. They just show up on Saturdays and play.
And as we know, if you build it, they will come. And boy, did they. The nonprofit's first season drawing about 50 kids. Many recruited the old-fashioned way.
The best marketing has been the kids actually going to school, passing out flyers and recruiting kids for their own team.
For kids like Crosby, that low-pressure environment is the best part.
That it's not like people are yelling. It's not too competitive.
And for parents, that shift is striking.
Normally we're like, you gotta go out there. And now she's just taken off.
Maggie Haddon says her daughter had tried other sports before, but nothing really clicked. Now she's engaged, found confidence before striking out on sports altogether.
But she's been excited to get up and go on Saturday morning and give it her all.
The league comes at a time many parents are re-evaluating the intensity of youth sports culture. That's why here they still learn collaboration, teamwork, but no travel fees or pressure to perform. Just kids covering the bases of childhood.
Soccer is not as fun as kickball.
How come?
Because in kickball, you're just meant to have fun.
And for these kids,
Crosby, go home!
That may be the real home run.
So they are a nonprofit. The fees are under $100 and they cover a shirt and field rental. The next season, if you're interested, is monsoon season. Games are going to be Friday nights under the lights to avoid some of the daytime heat. And you can sign up at backyardkickball.org. We've got that all on 12news.com. I'm Nohelani Graf for 12 News.
Coming up, how an Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher is giving back to the community.
That's a pretty good looking wall of dust there.
Dust storms are one of Arizona's most recognizable weather events.
You can see how quickly it's moving towards us when you look this way.
Many probably remember last August.
Boy, this has a real big potential to kick up a lot of dust.
When traffic slowed, airplanes were grounded and day turned to night.
Visibility is now, it's not even 100 feet.
They do happen really any time of day. They can happen. It just depends on when those storms move through.
Now in an effort to categorize these storms,
So it's been like a 5-year focus project.
researchers at ASU with about a dozen other experts created a first-of-its-kind dust storm scale.
Initially, though, it was tied to looking at air quality and being able to map out extreme events that happened related to air quality and dust exposure.
ASU's geographical science and urban planning teaching professor, Dr. Ryan Heinzman, says the Phoenix dust storm scale is kind of similar to the enhanced Fujita or EF scale of tornadoes.
It's not a forecasting, it's post-event.
He says during a dust storm, air quality sensors around the valley will measure the particulates in the air, which can then help categorize the storm after. Cat 1 would have the lowest concentration of dust.
If you take in a breath during a Category 1 event, so with 1,000 micrograms per cubic meter of dust, that would be roughly the equivalent of a few hundred pieces of dust entering your lungs or breathing in.
Category 5, however, would have the highest and is most likely from a major storm.
The primary one is just the Category 1 through 5, associated with just concentration of dust. And then we have subcategories that are based on the duration of the event, how long did it last, there's spatial extent, and then we also have wind gusts, because wind is a primary component of these dust storms, and if they have a certain threshold, in this case it's over 25 miles per hour, it would be a high wind gust storm event.
These stop signs are just about to snap over.
The infamous July 5th, 2011 dust storm was a Category 5. The storm last August,
It's getting really dark.
only a Cat 2.
Can't see anything out here. The wind just keeps picking up and moving even quicker.
One of the main reasons why it likely wasn't such a significant event is because it only lasted for 10 to 15 minutes in a lot of places. It was a unique dust storm because as it moved through, it lifted up basically a new thunderstorm right above it, and that precipitated out, it rained out, and that rain really quickly pulled all the dust from the air.
It's not just the rain and the water that's coming down, it is the wind that's pushing us along.
The goal of this is to help the community connect and learn more about these storms moving forward.
Let's find a way that we can categorize these storms that allow the public to engage with it in a different way, in a way that makes them think about exposure, but also how can we look at it from the perspective of transportation, or from air quality, or from dust storms and forecasting potentially in the future.
And with monsoon season just around the corner, there's hope this new scale is key to accomplishing that.
Dropped the sweeper in there, Sewald.
D-backs relief pitcher Paul Sewald.
Swing and a miss. Paul Sewald is back.
Has tallied nearly 500 strikeouts over his 10-year Major League career. But every strikeout here in 2026 will mean just a little bit more.
The most important part of my baseball career is doing this.
Sewald started Sewald Strikeouts for Kids back in 2022 after he and his wife Molly welcomed their first daughter. Now, after returning back here to Arizona, the family is once again partnering with Child Crisis Arizona.
The struggle is so real for Molly and I, and we have everything. I can't imagine how difficult it would be when the cards are stacked against you. And so that's really where it comes. It's just they want to do everything they can for their kids, and they just, they don't have everything that they need.
The organization helps some of the Valley's most vulnerable children and families, providing foster care, counseling, shelter, and education services.
Children in Arizona's foster care, they deserve homes. Children who are growing up below the poverty level, they deserve that equal footing as anybody else in any affluent situation.
This year, Sewald is donating $500 for every strikeout he records. The Arizona Diamondbacks are matching those donations dollar for dollar.
I'm going to continue to try to strike everybody out every time I face them. Feels like a win-win-win for everybody, so we have 5 months to go. We're going to try to rack them up.
For Debbie Castaldo with D-backs Gives Back, the impact goes far beyond writing a check.
We were so moved and so inspired by how authentic it is, and so of course we would match it, and then we want fans to get involved. When it's authentic and you deeply care about these things, it actually comes together really nicely.
For Sewald and his family, seeing these faces, visiting the campus, and meeting the people helping children has made this effort deeply personal.
It's sometimes it can be easier to write checks and just forget about where your money goes, but then to get to be there and to see how much effort and time and how much it meant to the people of Child Crisis Arizona to open that and provide extra resources, I think was really what touched us more than anything.
The goal for Sewald this season, 100 strikeouts. But even if he falls short,
we're just going to guarantee 100 strikeouts. I'm going to do my best to get there.
$50,000 will create meaningful change in so many lives.
We're just in a situation that I never dreamed was possible, and so the least I could do is try to get back a little bit.
It's definitely not fun. Hopefully it's going to come down in the near future with everything.
Flying may cost more,
but with pricing, it's definitely taking a toll on all of us for sure.
It may be just as big a hassle.
Everything is more expensive, and then the bags are more expensive as well because they were $35, now they're $45. So yeah, and then you want me to pay $400 for a ticket, and then I get delayed flights. No compensation.
But people are still traveling, and in big numbers.
They are definitely traveling, and they are definitely busy. We are definitely busy, as you can see. If you walk into Phoenix at any given time and go down one of our terminals, it's a sea of people.
Nationwide, more people are expected to fly this Memorial Day weekend than last year, including one of the busiest years for American Airlines at Sky Harbor.
For Memorial Day weekend, we're going to have 191,000 customers fly through here for American Airlines.
American says it's added 25 more flights per day for summer. They also added free Wi-Fi for Advantage members and getting people through check-in faster. But inflation is taking a toll. The prices of food, labor, and gas are all up. Jet fuel in particular has increased since the U.S. war with Iran, and that cost is being passed on to passengers. Domestic flights now average $459 per round trip. That's up $60 from last year.
The price of hotels and restaurants and things like that have also increased. Again, because of inflation.
Memorial Day travel is still high, but AAA says most of these flights were already booked before jet fuel prices started increasing. Meanwhile, Going.com says there's been a 21% drop in people searching for flights.
We could see people pulling back on Memorial Day travel this year in anticipation of seeing higher prices throughout the summer and wanting to take that one big trip this year versus a lot of little trips.
Thanks everyone for watching, and just a reminder that new episodes of 12 News in Focus premiere every Friday on the 12 News app. You can also watch past episodes. All you have to do is download the 12 News app on your TV devices and you can watch for free. I'm Karima Devine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.